So we're on quiz 43, and it says to construct a square that is equal to the given triangle. And so we're going to construct a square and see how it towards the bottom there. So this square is going to be equal to it. So the first thing we're going to know is basically a square here. This is what the square is side square equals 1/2 base times height of a triangle. But these two areas are going to be same. So how do we do this? This took me a lot to think, and of course it's going to get the whole quiz wrong if you get one question wrong. So it's so first of all, we drew a line. Let's draw a line right here. So let's draw it. I kind of draw it so we know. Oops. Sorry, of course there we go. Just draw a line like that. So that's our line, because we're going to build the square on the line. So first of all, we're going to do is we need to have a perpendicular bisector of it. So how do we do a perpendicular bisector of it? See, 1/2 b times h is perpendicular, so we're going to do the perpendicular bisector. It's pretty easy. So take your compass. Just watch. I have it written here so I don't have to do it all this time, when I try to do it. So you have basically taking this side, see how I'm doing? And you whatever you have, you don't have to have a certain length, I put a certain length here because I'd use this length here, but I did this way. See how I did this way? And I went to this side to perpendicular bisect that line. Okay? And then, of course, I have to do the bottom part, too. So I perpendicular the bottom part. See how I did the bottom part? That's how you do a perpendicular bisector. We did that earlier, like there. So now, you don't have this line drawn yet, right? So you drew the line between the perpendicular bisector, right? So I do that perpendicular bisector of that line. Okay? That's what I did. So we're going to perpendicular bisect it. Right? Okay. Perpendicular bisector of that line. And so now we have this line down here. We better perpendicular bisect that line too. So, because that way we can have similar to what we're working for up here. Perpendicular bisector of this line. We're going to have the same, first of all, we're going to measure that line, because we want to have the same line here at the same base, right? So we're going to measure this out. Right here. So we're going to put a line this way. Here. So this is the line I just drew right here, right? Because this is going to be equal to this. It's equal to this one here. Okay? So basically we have a perpendicular bisector, which went ahead and bisect this one now too. Bing. Bing. Down here. Bing. I'll move it up there so you can see it. Bing. 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 So we have a perpendicular bisector there. And so we're going to do that. Make that perpendicular bisector here. So I did the same here. Here's the top one we had. The bottom, so I drew. It's kind of off a little bit. I didn't. Sorry. Slid. There we go. A little better, I think. That's a perpendicular bisector there. So okay. So now, in doing that, we're going to have to do the altitude. Make sure we know the altitude. This is important that we know the altitude of the triangle here, because remember we're going to have 1/2 base time height. So we know the altitude here. So the altitude is going to have to be this here. But we're gonna have to do a perpendicular here too, because we can't just draw this. We have to have a perpendicular. So to do the perpendicular of this, okay. Because we bisected it, here's the middle of it there too. So we can have these 2 points. And so if we have these 2 points, we got, there we go. So I'm doing this one. Okay, and then we can basically, in drawing that up here, we can do the same. See how I did that? So then we have an altitude. So I drew, basically drawing this line here just to make sure it's a perpendicular line, right? Okay. So now we have, you know, the perpendicular through C to the line, okay? Or through AB here to C, here's C, here's the perpendicular. So now we have 1/2 base times height. And so now we want to basically have the height, you know, in the midst of all this. So we are going to put on this line here, down here. We want to have 1/2 B, or 1/2 this, you know, 1/2 this line B. Here's B. So 1/2 that we already did. So this is 1/2 B. We know that right here. Now we want to add the height to this. So basically, in the midst of the height, we want to add this height on this line. So we're going to measure that height. It's kind of a long one, isn't it? So basically we drew the line and then we measured the 1/2 B, which we got 1/2 B right here, 1/2 B here, because remember it's 1/2 BH times height. We'll put 1/2 BH on this line. So we measured this here, and now we want to put the height here. So you measure out the height. Okay, a little bit bigger. So the height's a little bit bigger. So you measured the height right there. So that's going to be the height. See where I put the arrow? That's going to be the height there. Okay, so we have the height. And so now that we have the height, we can, on this quadrant, since we basically have the height now, and we have the 1/2 B, that, you know, we know that this is going to be 1/2 B here, the height and everything, so we know the height. We can actually put together in the midst of what the square is. But first of all, we have to, first of all, we have to put in the midst of the height, we realize the height is this. B, so the height's going to be in the midst of all this. So 1/2 B times the height. And so measure the H on the line and draw the perpendicular. So we're going to draw the perpendicular where the H goes. So that's what we did. So the H is a little more than the B. So here's the B. It's kind of weird. Here's the B here. And here's it's going to be the B in the midst of all this. And so we're going to draw that smaller amount on this side. And go ahead and put the perpendicular there. Draw that perpendicular by the sides there. By using this one and this one here, and draw the perpendicular. So this here, so we don't really have to, I mean, but in the midst of that line should be drawn. The difference of the height there. And so then we just go ahead and we're going to be able to draw this by sorry, I have to do this here. It's going to be similar to this side. Sorry. Measuring the sides have to be equal. This side has to be equal to this side, right? So we put a mark there. And this side has to be equal to this side. So put a mark there. So this side is equal. We're basically going like this. It's actually a little bit, I'm sorry, I'm having a time with my compass. This here. And so now we know this side's going to be right here. And this side's going to be right here. And then we can take your straight edge, those points, and you can draw with the straight edge. Make sure you use the straight edge here. This. And this. So, okay. So basically you want one half B here in the midst of B, what B is, and then what H is here. And the H is actually going to come on this side here. So, but anyway, here's the side of it's going to be the side, no, let's see if you got that. Anyway, that's kind of complicated. I'm not the best at doing construction, so you can look at that and see, how perpendiculars and everything in there. So that's the construction. You can see my directions. You have S equal 1/2 BH. That's where you're going to put 1/2 BH is going to be on this line. And then, because we have B, and then 1/2 BH here. And then going on and drawing the line, measuring 1/2 BH on the line, and the perpendicular bisector there to make sure here, and measuring H on the line. So we have the H here. In the midst, you're going to see where the H is. The H is actually out here. So when I drew the H to the line, I don't think I did that part for you. So basically you say, okay, basically B was right here, but H is going to be right here. So you're going to draw that like that where the H is, because that's where you know you're going to put your point. And you put your point up here, and you can draw that perpendicular line. You have the point here, and then the midst you can make a perpendicular here and here, and you have this perpendicular line, so you're going to draw that. So I don't know if I did this just totally right, but you can see how it would with the square. Okay, this one is another doozy, huh? So construct a triangle that is equal to the given, transform it into, you're supposed to transform it into, I started to do the triangle over here, so negate all of these lines here, because I didn't transform it into, but this is not so hard. So construct a triangle that is equal, so you have two triangles having equal bases and equal attitudes, that our altitudes are equals. That's your theorem. So here we have, this whole thing's in your book. So here you basically have, you're going to have, first of all, you're going to draw a line. Forget this diagonal. I goofed up on that side. So you're going to draw this here, this diagonal. So you have that diagonal. So now you're going to want to do, from this diagonal here that you drew, you're going to want to draw the line that comes to here. This line's already there. So you're going to want to draw a line that is equal to this diagonal. See this diagonal? This, where the X is. This angle has to be equal to the exterior angle here. Those two angles have to be equal. So how do you do that? So you're going to Bing. You're going to get your compass. You're going to put this here, this way. And then you're going to put a line this way. And then you're going to measure those to make sure that they're equal. Your compass, make sure that they're equal. They're tiny, so get your compass tiny. Right there. Oops, now it's even smaller than that. There. Make sure they're equal. And then on this side, make that side equal here. So you're going to put a little point right there where it's equal. And then you're going to take that point on the outside. You're going to take that down. Draw the line down. See how I'm drawing this line down? All the way down. And extend this line out. So I do the line down and extend it out there. So it extends out here. This is equal and this is equal. And so now to draw the triangle, so now we have this is equal and this is equal. Now we have a point down here. This is a big deal. We needed this point on this line. And so now we can draw this last line. Use your ruler. Now we can draw it all the way down. This one will probably be on the test too. All the way down. Okay, now which triangle? We have to label the triangle we're talking about. We're going to be saying, now this quadrilateral that we had before was about this size, right? Now you have this bigger triangle, basically coming all the way down here. So we drew it within. So we're going to put down, what is this? This is A, and we labeled this F, AFD. So AFD is the triangle. It's inside here. We need to label it because you look at it like, where's the triangle? So this is the triangle. I put it in green. Triangles in green. That was kind of fun to do. It was a lot easier than the last one. So this, I was goofing up this majorly, so I had to look it up. It says construct, so forget about this. Bingo. It wasn't working because I wasn't really doing it right. Well, actually I was, but I actually did it right, but I wanted to show you how, with the Pythagorean theorem that they say. So basically A and B, so you're going to have, what you're going to do is you're going to put this so you can find the C square. So this is a complicated one, so I didn't even see where they really had it in your book. So anyway, so these little things we're going to measure out. Look over here. So if you can see over here, right here, that's where I did it. So basically, you're going to take, you're going to be putting this on a line together, because what they want to do is take these two squares and make them into one big square that has the equal area. So we're going to measure out these two squares. So over here. So now we're over on this side. So you have, first of all, you want to put, you want to draw your line, right? So I drew the line. So that's the line we're going to build the square on, right? So now you're going to want a perpendicular line, because you know it has to be square, and squares are perpendicular, right? They have right angles. So you know how to do this. So first of all, to do this, on this line, wherever it may be, you need to put two equal points from where we're going to do the perpendicular. I haven't, just think that perpendicular is not there, so you put right there. Okay, let me see. Right here. And then over on this side, right here on this side. So you have two equal points. So now we want to make that perpendicular. So we're going to, I always make mine a little bigger so you can see it, so it's up further so you can see it. That point and that point. So that point, and go on this point, and this point. So now we have perpendicular, right? We have this here. So now we can take our ruler and draw a perpendicular. So we did a perpendicular through those points. Okay, so we have a perpendicular. So now, this is going to be easy now. Nevertheless, it's like I'm going to have a quiz, and he must have did it in the class. But so now we want to put down. It's going to be this. Forget about this right now. At first, we're going to put down measuring these out for a square and b square. So, or the little square. So we're going to measure this side out for b. Right there. Okay. So we're going to put it over here. So, actually, I'm going to move it off. Yeah, okay. So I measured it here. Just put a line here, measure it through. Okay. Now we're going to measure the other one. It's going to be smaller. Right there. So we're going to put A here. So on our line, we're going to put A right there. So I put it there. Okay. So now we're going to have a square, b square, and c square. So we can put a line there. We just put a line there. So we have this little triangle, right? So put a line there. Whoops. That. So we have that little triangle there. And so now, in the midst of that, you're going to have, S2 equals a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we put that in there. And so now we're going to take this c, see where the c is, and we're going to measure that. Because that's going to be the side of our square now. We need to find that. So there, it's going to be bigger. It's going to be bigger than the a and the b square, right? It's going to be right here. So now we're going to take that and we're going to measure it out here. See how I did measure that out? And we're going to measure it out over here, which I did. So that's going to be one leg and that's going to be the other leg. And so now we want to measure out the other. So we're going to take this here, measure out this leg from here, because we have that one here. Ding. And we're just measuring this, measuring it out here. Ding. So now we have the points, right? 1 point there, 1 point there, and 1 point there. So now that we have the points, we can draw the lines. So let's do it. Point there. Oops, this didn't go in right. There we go. So now we have a square. How fun is that? No, another one. So anyway, this one was a hard one because I didn't show you that you had to have, before you have a square plus b square equals c square, you have to issue. So you have to get that c square and put the sides as being that because of this, right? This is the reason. I didn't get this at first either. You have s squared equal a squared plus b squared plus c squared. So you're going to have s, as for the square root of all this, s squared is the area of 1, and then a squared plus b squared plus c squared is the right triangle. So it's going to be s equal a, or basically you're using s. You want to know what c squared, so you can have s equal c is what you want to find out. S equals c, and that's what we did. Our sides are equal to c's in the square. Alrighty, so let's go on to your construction page in your test. Okay. On page 136 or in your test 11, and we're going to go over 11 here. See if you can do this without me goofing it up for you. So anyway, this is it says transfer the given ABC into a right triangle, one leg of which is equal in length to AB in the triangle. So 1/2 BH, you know, so we're going to do the midst of these triangles. So first of all, you got to transform it into a right triangle, right? So you have to make sure you have a perpendicular. So here's the triangle. So looking at this whole thing, here's the triangle that you have, right? I'm making it in orange here, drawing it. This is the one that's on your book. So now we're going to draw this other one, just by, this one's not too hard. We're going to make it perpendicular at this point. So this has to be a right triangle, which means it has to be perpendicular. So the first thing we do to make a perpendicular, I'm just doing it with the same I did before. First thing I did is write a line here. I put a line over here, right? So you had a line here and here, just like there, there, right? And so now you have these points. You're going to do a perpendicular, so you have to be a little bit bigger, so it's, I'm doing it just equal, but you can do it any way you want. This way, on this side, this perpendicular, and this perpendicular. There's our perpendicular there. Let's do the perpendicular bottom. This perpendicular on this side. Okay, there's you got the perpendicular. So then you draw your perpendicular line. Draw it in green so we know what we're drawing in. Okay, there you got your perpendicular. So now it has to do with the angles here. And so you're going to draw another, you're going to draw, have this line has to be perpendicular here too. So in the midst of, so what I did is I went ahead and, you know, basically drawing the altitude here. So, so you know what the altitude is, and that's a perpendicular line too. So do the same thing. Remember how to draw a perpendicular. So the altitude. Okay. Make sure you need to have the, I don't know if this altitude is written there, but you need to have the perpendicular altitude. So what I did here. Sorry, I'm taking so long. It just takes me a long time with this compass here. So you can draw, first of all, before you even do this, draw this line here. You got 2 points. Get your line and draw this line here. There you go. So that's a point here. So that's where we're going to have the perpendicular. Okay? So, and now we can draw this by finding this point here with the perpendicular. Like here. Okay, there. And then we find the perpendicular here. So in the midst of all that. So we have, anyway, this is what it's going to look like. So we have this here, we have this perpendicular line here, perpendicular, this whole side is perpendicular. Another way you can do is measure this, measure, and have this one be the same as that one. You know, so measure with your compass. Okay, and now we want to, be able to know about these angles. So it's real important that we know, okay, that this angle, because these are parallel lines now, right? That we know that this angle here needs to equal this angle here, right? So we know those two angles equal each other. So now, in the midst of those angles, the angle is equaling each other. So we can, in the midst, find out where we're going to put, where this, as for the B point here, we know the B point is going to come up to where we have the perpendicular here. So we're going to draw this line to the B point. There we go. So now we have it done. So we need to put down, this is triangle what? So that this is going to be triangle. So this is going to be the triangle here, the right triangle now. Right there. The triangle is going to be triangle ABD. So to make sure we know, this is A, this is B, and this is D. It's just drawing these perpendicular lines up here is what you're going to do. So, all right, let's go on to this last one. We had this in the other one. We transformed this quadrilateral. We just did this in the other quiz, right? So basically what we're going to do with this is, okay, we have, let me see, okay. So it says transform quadrilateral ABCD, ABCD. This is what we have, because I didn't, here we go. We have this, right? Okay, so so we have the quadrilateral. We're going to draw a diagonal. So here we have this diagonal that we're drawing. Make sure you use a straight edge like that. Okay. So we have this diagonal. The thing is, this diagonal now, this little angle here, this angle, because it's a vertical angle, this is vertical, but these two are vertical, but this angle here is going to have to be out to this angle here. So those two. So we're going to measure that. It's very tiny, so I have to put it tiny. Measure that. So now we're going to go out on here. We're going to go out on this. I'm going to draw. Keep it down there. I'm going to draw it. Oh, I have the wrong point here. See where my point is? So we're going to draw it like this. Okay. So, and now we have, as for this point, we have 2 points here. So let's go ahead and these 2 points. We have a point here and this point here, right? So we have the 2 points there in the midst because we measured where it was going. The 2 points. So now we're going to put the 2 points and we're going to bring it in. There we go. So now we know this is going to be equal to this. And so in the midst of all of this, you know, we're going to be able to put together this, put together the triangle. I don't know if I explained this one very good. This is going to be the line coming down here to way out here. So really, before you did that, you had to put this diagonal here. Did I draw this diagonal first? So anyway, basically, you're going to measure this here angle this has to be equal to this angle here, and then in the midst of all this, we drew out here. Then we're going to draw this other extra down here. We had to extend this. I hope you extended this first. Extend this first. And then we're going to find out where we want to know where this point is. Is what we need to know. So we extended this here first. We had the diagonal this way, and so we needed this little area. And so in the midst of that, we have to know extending this out, this area here added to it. And as we add that to it, we can put down this here and extend it down here. So the triangle that we're looking at is going to be Transform the quad line into the triangle that we're going to look at here is going to be right here. Oops. This big one. And so make sure we put down, this triangle is A. Here's A. And we put down that E here. It's our point E, D. Label it AED. Triangle AED. Okay? All right, that's enough of that. Okay, I hope you got that. You just have to have these little parts in there and stuff. So anyway, that's the end of constructions.